So, Technical Thursdays, welcome back. We are going to talk about Bitcoin and some other big market pairs. This is important. So hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new, please do subscribe, hit the bell button, like, and obviously leave a nice little comment. It makes a big difference in the wake of the scammers that are always on my channel. So, we need to talk about Bitcoin. In terms of where we're at, retracement time essentially, in my opinion anyways, I think we are going to correct. Not too serious realistically, but like anything, we'll go over it. We'll go over some of the big pairs and what I think. I'll look at the dominance chart. I know a lot of people are asking about dominance chart. We'll go over that. And yeah, it's pretty cool. So feel free though, below in the links, there's a Telegram group. It's free to jump in, and also my Twitter page. It's helpful that you jump in because I tweet a lot and I also talk a lot in Telegram. So if you want to get involved, i.e. instead of emailing me, please go on Telegram. It's much safer and easier. So looking at the charts now, looking at the rough sort of percentages, it's all right. You know, realistically, we were expecting this sort of retracement anyways. Going up from 10k to 20k, we're always going to get some sort of pushback. And the funniest thing is we've not really had many pushbacks realistically. We've had one big one, as you can see on the chart with this section here. So yeah, it's pretty good. Now, I want to go, before the charts, into some news. Now, a lot of news dropped, let me just check, yesterday, yes, the 9th. A lot, as you can see, there's 3 articles I'm going to put up from yesterday, and it's mega like, wow. I personally feel that this market doesn't want to drop easily. And I realistically, I don't want it to happen, because I want to explain why alt season could be very much around the corner. Now, the adoption of Bitcoin by institutional investors has begun, says JP Morgan. We all know JP Morgan, very, very famous. Yeah, but they've also been very, very critical of Bitcoin. Now they're starting to like heat the freaking fire cauldron underneath us to try and get us moving a little bit. Now, this is massive. Bitcoin is coming for gold, says one of the JP Morgan analysts. Now, that's kind of big. When you compare gold to most other things, it's been quite a good asset over time. But as you all know, it doesn't grow as much as Bitcoin. Yeah, we all take the piss about gold investors, but ultimately, it's all about the store of wealth. And if we are, in my opinion, compared to gold, that's pretty damn good compared to the fact of we're only, what, 10 years old? You know, that's a big, big achievement. Moving on to the next bit of news that came out yesterday was MicroStrategy ups its 500 million Bitcoin offering, which is huge, right? When you think about it, you know, these have came under a bit of fire from the world of the stock market. They got a downgrade from a Citi analyst because they've been buying Bitcoin, which is fair play. But what I've always said about this is, and I've been totally wrong, I've been critical in saying that no institution's going to publicly declare that they're going to buy Bitcoin at these levels. And fair play, I was wrong. Because these have literally done a come out and get us, come out and join us, come out and do this with us, come and beat what we're doing. That's massive. And if you think about it in terms of realistic expectations, if you were anyone and you were telling people to buy into Bitcoin at 19k, you'd be like, come on, it's a bit risky. These guys have just literally plonked $500 million on the table and go, right, bought Bitcoin. You coming in? Are you joining me? Are you jumping in this cold water as well? Why not? You know, that's the sort of echo when it's done, and it's kind of given us that kind of snowball effect of why the market is still bullish. And you look at the likes of PayPal jumping in the hot seat, essentially go, oh look, we're going to be doing crypto next year, cool. You've obviously got the Facebook coin coming next year as well. You know, all these big players are going to start getting people going, ooh, what's this, what's that, okay, and then people will eventually jump in. So vitally important, we know that. And the next bit of article was Grayscale. I know I'm not running time order, but you know, back to front, whatever. But 100,000 Ethereum snapped up, boom, like nothing. You know, it's crazy. So there is an obvious reason why people are buying this. And it's like what I was saying the other day. It's like the COVID crash has kind of like made people stand up and go, ooh, it's a really good asset. It's strong. It's mobile, it's working, it's getting there, it's growing. We're still early. You know, if they're thinking we're still early, What about us? What about us, the guys that have been in for a lot longer than those people? That's really is promising. So, yes, always play the trends, and we'll talk about trends in a minute, but it is vitally important we understand what's happening. Now, on to some other news before we get onto the analysis. The reason being, this one has been on my feed a few times. Realistically, people have asked about this coin, and they've also asked about this exchange in terms of what they're doing. Now, I mentioned this a while back, if you've been following me for a while. Covesting on Prime XBT. So it's basically a copy trader module. It's fully live, it's fully functional. It's been on the Prime XBT exchange for a while now, over a year. And they finally got it all up and running, growth. And now the Covesting exchange is kind of working within that in terms of token utility. So this is massively important. And the reason why I say this is because a lot of new people are looking for something like this in crypto that's kind of useful. You've got eToro, but eToro is limited in terms of what you can use. This is obviously an exchange, but you know, if you're using the likes of Bitcoin, that is for some people more attractive than going onto eToro and using the likes of the dollar or the Great British Pound, whatever. So you can feel free to check it out. Go and have a little look. And if you've never looked on Prime XBT before, it is a really good market. The reason why I say this is because you got 50 different markets in one place. Why? You've got obviously you got your Bitcoin and stuff. You got gold. You got the S&P. You got obviously Forex as well. There's all kinds on there, but the fact that you can actually go on there and copy people, if you so wish to, you know, obviously remembering the risk and stuff, but you can literally copy traders, and they've got the full transparency, the full trust here in terms of how it all works. As you can see here, you know, you can see, obviously today's profit's not the greatest at the moment, but it's only early. You got to look at these over a period of time. So if you know, I've had so many people comment about this recently in terms of where can people go for copy trading? Well, here you go. Solved. So there you go. Moving on to the world of, get the right chart up, Ash, come on. Bitcoin. As I've been explaining, we are still bullish. As you can see by the title, we are still bullish. If you're looking at this, it's like, wow. If in doubt, zoom out. Yeah, simple phrase. It's very, very easy. Now, again, I did a video yesterday about certain things, and we're looking, in my opinion, it's starting to, I wanted to do this. I want this to carry on ranging in and around this box for ages. I'll explain why in a minute. But with this, so many people get caught up in the emotion of what's happening in the day, right? It's like, oh my God, we're dying. Realistically, we're okay. We are absolutely fine and dandy. Yes, it's volatile. Yes, the spikes. Yes, it's a pain in the ass sometimes when you wake up. It's like, oh, we're down what? How many percent? But by the next day, it's usually like, oh, we're back to normal. It's like, woo. Like when you look at this like dump here, it's like, oh God. Hey, you know, people sell these dips, they sell supports, they shouldn't, they should be buying the supports, but they're just actually selling. And that's why yesterday's video was really, really good in terms of identifying value, identify level, support, whatever. Obviously, you're looking at the likes of the weekly time frame, which is key. So let's start on the weekly time frame. Now, if people are telling you that this is bearish, I want you to go and get the biggest fish you can find and give them a good slap with it, because this is the most like bullish chart you're going to get. But you've got to look at the facts here. This could retrace and it could be totally normal. It could go down to 16k and be absolutely fine. It could even go down to 13,800 level region, give or take, which is this level here, and be absolutely fine. Why? Because it's a formation of a chart. It's a correction. You've got to form a trend. A trend is easy. You've got a higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. It doesn't break the mold if on the weekly time frame we do this. And then from there on, we explode to the upside, which could be beyond all-time highs. You've got to remember the trend. The trend is your friend. Now, there's a lot of people getting very upset because a little bit of droppages are happening. Got to be calm, got to be collective. And when you zoom in on this weekly time frame and you look at it in fine-grained detail, we've got EMAs here, we've got EMAs there, we've got 618 level here, we've got 786 here, 382 here on the Fibonacci. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest if we dip to those levels. However, if it does happen, it is a buying opportunity. When you compare the fact of the news and all kinds of good stuff, it is pretty critical you do not panic. Looking at the daily as well, it's still looking all right, but I do feel that we are due a correction. It's ridiculously how much this has grown. Yes, we've tapped this once, liquidity grab went up a bit higher, we failed. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest if we go for another bite of the cherry and get more liquidity. So that is the likes of Bitcoin solved. Same with Ethereum. Again, we've had a similar sort of situation. It looks identical. Really, see the charts look very, very similar. We can see that. You know, we've had a massive boom. We've had a rejection. We've had a pullback. We've had a rejection. We're on the way back down. I personally believe, again, similar sort of ilk. We are going to find a similar situation where we are going to retrace, and we potentially are going to go in and around where this level is, $500 give or take. Now, one thing is obviously important here. We have retraced a little bit here and we found a level of support in and around this 50% mark. But again, very, very early to say that we are going to go and shoot from here. But if the articles keep pumping in terms of, oh, people are buying, people are like really are accumulating heavy in the world of the institutional markets, big news. But it is not bought on the exchange. It's over the counter stuff. Still bullish news, still looks quite good because people are getting confidence that, oh, the confident element that, yes, people are interested and buying these dips. But I mentioned recently a supply shock. A supply shock is when, like a Bitcoin, for example, or lower supply coins, is when the OTCs, which is basically the miners are selling to the OTCs at the minute, if that then dries up a little bit, they will have to go to our exchanges, the centralized exchanges like Binance, Coinbase, whatever. That is where you're going to start seeing rapid price action. So you've got to remember that scarcity factor. How much output can the miners give for the likes of Bitcoin, even for the likes of Ethereum in terms of what's on the market, in terms of what isn't staked yet? There will be a point where people will want to buy it like pretty aggressively, and there might not be enough left on the shelves, and it might be like the whole situation in COVID-19 where bog roll became a very, very scarce commodity in the UK. But that could happen, and that will create that big rocket price ship. Big, massive factor there that could shake the world in terms of just scarcity and numbers, facts. Moving on to the likes of Litecoin. Now, not Litecoin, sorry, Chainlink. We'll go to Chainlink first. It starts with an L. That's close enough. I personally feel that we are going to get a nice dip down to this level, personally, but I'm very much aware that this might not come off. Reason being, what have I just explained before? Every day there seems to be an article about bulls and, you know, elements of accumulation and stuff like that. If the likes of Bitcoin moves or the likes of Ethereum moves, this will go with it. It always does. Now you got to look at the fact of this hasn't retraced massive amounts yet. Yes, it went below the 382, but it could be on its journey to the 618, which is here. So if we do pop up a little bit and go to this 382 level, I'm going to be looking at a potential short position on Chainlink to go down to this level to be the full correction. Then we may well from there go back up again north and go beyond previous levels of like $20 and maybe even higher. Which brings me nicely onto the likes of Litecoin as well, which I was talking about. Similar sort of situation where we've had this impulse, we've bounced back up, we've went to the 382 here, but we might actually retrace and go below this 382 here, providing, you know, similar sort of situation where it bounces and it does find a level of rejection where there has been supply and we go lower. It wouldn't shock me in the slightest to see the likes of altcoins retrace deeper and a lot further than the likes of Bitcoin in this situation. It always happens, they always move more. So again, it looks very similar to the Bitcoin chart where we've popped, we've rejected again, and we're starting to come back down. It still doesn't harm us in any shape or form going back and retracing to this 618 level, or even if we have officially ended it here. So we've got to be careful in terms of where we actually jump in on this one. So maybe some altcoins is short opportunities if you are into shorts. It's up to you. But for me, I'm not really that turned on by it. I think there's that much news, it might actually just throw it off a little bit. Moving on to, and we talked about it, we need to talk about it, is obviously the Bitcoin dominance chart. Now, this is the most important chart on your, you know, realistically, when you think about, look at the weekly time frame for an example here. If I just zoom in on this, make it look neat and tidy. Hello, a little bit of a cheat sheet here. If this is going down, it's alt season. If the total 2 is going up. So if the total 2 chart, total.2 is this one. If this is going up, it's looking good, and if the dominance is going down, it's an alt season. So we are in a downtrend. Obviously, you can see it's an obvious downtrend. We've found a level here, we've rejected, and we look to be going down, in my opinion. This is a very neutral candle on the weekly time frame. On the daily time frame, we've been holding this level here. This is a 50% retracement level of this, essentially. So it has some sort of confluence between that level. We need to drop. If this drops, alt season is here and we will all make more Bitcoin. Holding altcoins would be great. And in reality, when you look at the facts here of this huge big area, this could really melt. It could form a massive low all the way down to 53, which is a huge move, potentially huge move, if that does occur. Even if it goes down to 57 here and it finds a level and it turns from there, I still think if that drops a good 7 to 8% in terms of points on a move, on terms of dominance, I think that is massive, and it could send altcoins go for a nice little rally, which is also why I'm a bit careful on going, oh, let's just go short on these because it's correcting to the 618. Realistically, we don't know what news is around the corner. We really don't know, and you've got to be careful with that. So if you're trading, go for it in terms of like manage your risk. But if you're an investor and you're looking at altcoins right now, it might be a great time to be in altcoins for this potential drop. Obviously, potential drop. It might not even happen. If this happens, as in this drops, altcoins will rally. They will get stronger because the dominance of the spillover from Bitcoin into altcoins will be greater than Bitcoin, hence why this will drop. Big importance. So moving on to the final part, obviously I mentioned it before, this needs to keep going up. This is still in a nice little uptrend, still looking all right. It's obviously correcting a little bit, but there could be loads of reasons why the money hasn't flown fully into the market yet and it is focusing on Bitcoin. December, we know it's very, very promising for altcoins, so we may well get that switch very, very soon. So, I'm still bullish overall. Yes, there's some altcoins in a short-term downtrend right now, but they're going to go to a certain point and find demand zones. If they find the demand zones, or people are like, oh, I like this, huge liquidity grabs can happen and we can get sent to the upside. Therefore, alt season will commence.